Good evening. Today we'll be learning Daf Tzadik Chesam at base. So we're going to the story of when somebody was holding on the roof. He was holding on the roof, and a safer, and it rolled down. He's still holding part of it. He's still holding, and it rolled down, and it's close to reaching the floor. So we have like three opinions in the Mishnah. The first opinion of the Mishnah says that that if it goes, once it reaches 3 tfachim, then you can't roll it back. So once it reaches 10 tfachim, you can't roll it back. So what do we say? The first opinion is once it reaches 10 tfachim, you cannot roll it back. We learned in the Gemara yesterday that's a bit missing in the Mishnah, and therefore 10 tfachim is talking about a crooked wall, not a straight wall. So it's already resting on the wall. It's touching the wall. That's why we go the measurement of 10 tfachim. If there's no, it's not resting on the wall. It's a sheer drop from the roof to the Rosh Hashanah. So then there was it. So in the Mishnah, there's supposed to be another few words which tell us that it depends if it's entered 3 tfachim, then you cannot roll it back. If it's not entered 3 tfachim, you are able to roll back. Let me just repeat. But the bottom line is that the opinion of the first Tana, it's in the second part of the Mishnah, which speaks about the roof. And as the opinion of the first Tana is that if you have the safer roll down, and you're still holding on to it, and it hasn't rested on anything, and it's 3 tfachim, it's more than 3 tfachim above the ground, it's more than 3 tfachim above the ground, you can roll it back, even though it's in the avir of the Rosh Hashanah. Whereas if it's already within the 3 tfachim, if it's within the 3 tfachim, so then you cannot roll it back. Why? Because if it's within the 3 tfachim, it's considered as if it's in the Rosh Hashanah, as if it come to rest in the Rosh Hashanah. We'll discuss. We'll discuss all this in the Gemara. But that's what it seems. And Rabbi Huda says that. So the first, before that in the Mishnah, we were saying that it depends if it's higher than 3 tfachim or below 3 tfachim, and then Rabbi Huda says if it's only like a needle or a thread, different versions. If it even says the width of a needle or the width of a thread, it's from the floor, it means it's not touching the floor, you're still able to roll it back. So Rabbi Yehuda says that as long as it's not touching the floor, you're still able to roll it back. Now, what is the basic principle? The basic principle of this Mishnah is that you're not permitted to roll it back, because if
You're on mute, Rabbi.
Very beginning?
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah, am I on mute from the very beginning?
It started.
Okay. So, Rabbi Yehuda says, that even though it's not above the ground, only a very small amount above the ground, you can still roll it back, because in the position that it's in right now, even if it would fall there and be there, you would not be holding the other end. It would still be, it wouldn't be an issa deraisa to take it back, because the issa deraisa is only when it comes to rest in the Rishus Rabbim, then you're not permitted to take it back. But as long as it's not come to rest in the Rishus Rabbim, it's not come to rest in Rishus Rabbim, and you take it, it's in the air of the Rishus Rabbim, and you take it from the air of the Rishus Rabbim, you pluck it out, you bring it into the Rishus Yachid, then you would not be you would not be chayim b'deraisa. So therefore, midrabanan, if you're holding on to it and you're still holding one end, you're still holding. So vadi, you'll have to roll it back. So only when it comes to such a place that if you would take it from there, if it fell, it would be awesome b'deraisa. Then midrabanan, even though it didn't fall, you're not permitted to take it. Okay. So as the Buddha says, as it's not touching the ground, so then you're allowed to roll it back. So need there should be hanocha in order to have issa deraisa. It has to have hanocha on something, and so that means to say, that even if it's within 3 tefachim, so even if it's within 3 tefachim, it still needs that itself. The fact that it's within 3 tefachim is not considered a hanocha. It has to actually rest on a piece of ground or something. There has to be something that has to come to rest on. If it doesn't rest on something, even if it's within the 3 tefachim, it's not considered resting the rabbim, and therefore there's no possibility of issa deraisa in the way it is at that moment. So the Gemara asks, that's what Rabbi said. So that it comes out, since we have machlokes now, that the Rabbi Yehuda says, as long as it doesn't come to rest, you're permitted to roll it back. Why? There's no chashash of deraisa in the scenario as it is, which is not touched the Rishus Rabbim. So that would be like Rabbi, and that would be, Rabbi Yehuda would be like Rabbi. But the previous opinion, which says that even if it's higher than 3, then if it doesn't touch the ground, you're not allowed to roll it back. So the previous opinion that says that even if it doesn't touch the ground, you're not allowed to roll it back. So that will be arguing on the din of Rabbi, which Rabbi says that even Teich Shleisha, the Rabbanon, you need to have Anocha. What means the Rabbanon is, because it was a machlokes to Rabbi Rabbanon, whatever, Rabbi Kiva doesn't have Anocha altogether, let's not go into that. But the Kolpan, so the din of Rabbanon, the din of Rabbi would be dependent on the machlokes to Tanaim the Mishnah. The Mishnah, the Gemara answers El Kula Rabbi Yehuda, that the whole Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda. Chsur Mechzel Harkitan. We're in Bekois Meshupa. That when do we say that if it's within 10 tefachim? That's the first opinion. If 10 tefachim, you have to. That's within 10 tefachim, you are not permitted. If the Megillah rolls, the Sefer rolls within 10 tefachim, you're not allowed to roll it back. Let's talk about Mekois Meshupa, a slanting wall. The slanting wall, if it's within 10 tefachim, that means it's in the Rishus Rabbim. Don't forget. Sorry. Because if it's a slanting wall, that means it came to rest. If you're holding the Megillah and there's a slanting wall, and so obviously it came to rest on the wall. So if it came to rest on the wall, and if it's above 10 tefachim, so the Rishus Rabbim doesn't go above 10 tefachim. But if the slanting wall and within the last 10 tefachim, So the last 10 tefachim of the wall, which is a sloping wall, is a din of Rosh Hashanah because the Abba Rosh Hashanah is typhus is the 10 tefachim. So therefore, that's 10 tefachim. If there's a sheer wall, it's not. I feel it even it's, so we're not making two opinions over here. We just making all one opinion. I feel it even though it's less than 3 tefachim, and it's not resting on anything. But the Koisel Meshubah, it rested already on something, so it came to rest. But since it didn't come to rest, even though it's deep within the Rabbim, well, deep as it's it's mamash almost touching the floor, but it's not. I feel it. It's good. So you can still roll it back. Good or Omer, because they're good to say. I feel it. Even if it's only a thread between the end of the Megillah and it touching the Shus Rabbim, it's only a thread, a head breadth, let's say, between them. Still, you're allowed to roll it back. My time at the beginning, in order to be able to, in order to over, is the rice for taking it. If you would not be holding the other end, it has to have a nocha on something. Okay. Usually, Bechlal, Hanocha has to be on Dalet Tfachim. Hanocha has to be Dalet Tfachim. But within, if it's within the ground, it's 3 Tfachim. Normally, Hanocha has to be a place which is Dalet Tfachim. But if it's in Shrabim and it's within the 3 Tfachim from the ground, it's within 3 Tfachim. It's within 3 Tfachim on the ground. So even Hanocha on something, which is not Dalet Tfachim, will also be considered Hanocha. And within the Shrabim, why? Because it's within the 3 Tfachim. Within the 3 Tfachim, it's like the ground. So therefore, the ground, which is going to be part of the Dalet. So okay, it's on there on something. Let's say there's you have a small piece of wood which is not dalet, and that came to rest on the small piece of wood which is not dalet. But if it's below 3 tefachim, so then the floor and the wood, the piece of wood on the floor is considered for all practical purposes as if it's level. So therefore, it's as if it's completely on the floor. But it has to come to rest on something. Just being in the air, as long as it's not touching anything, that is not considered enough. Okay. Ziz shalifnei achaloin nice in all of the like b'shatz. So if we have in front of the window, we have a window ledge. So let's say we have a window ledge, so similar in front of the window. So you can put all the stuff on the window ledge on Shabbos. You can put things there, and you can take things from the window ledge into the house. So the Gemara asks, "Hi, this is the mafik lehecha. Where's this window ledge sticking out? Even with the mafik shusharabim, if you say sticking out to shusharabim, so how can you do that? Because we learned right before that we worry maybe something will fall, and then you'll take it. So leichas, we should be afraid. Dilma nofil. Maybe when you put the stuff on the window ledge, it will fall down in the shusharabim, and in the spur of the moment you'll forget. And you'll bring it into the Rishus Yochid. So how can you let things put things on the window ledge when they might fall, and you'll end up bringing it back into Rishus Yochid? Hello, the Mafkush Yochid. So the window ledge goes in Rishus Yochid. So pshita, of course you're allowed. It's going to Rishus Yochid. So of course you're allowed. Rabbi, even the Mafkush Yochid, it's going to Rishus Yochid. You said that we should worry. Maybe things will fall. And therefore, in the spur of the moment, he'll just go pick it up and bring it back in. So we say, the only things we should have to put on the windowsill is kalim which get broken. So therefore, there's no worry if they'll fall. If they'll fall, they'll smash. So we won't bring it back into the shus. Kelim doesn't mean broken kalim. It means kalim which will be broken if they fall. With a price like that, you have a ledge in front of the window, it's a window ledge, or another ledge in front of the window, which goes out and placing all of the kairos, the places, with the dishes, the places, containers, sluchis, umishtamesh. These are all the kaisos and so on. These things, the kaisos they fall, the plates and kaisos they fall down from the window, they'll smash. Yeah. So you can mishtamesh b'chol kaisel ad hasara tachtonim. You can you can use the whole wall. It's a ledge which is not just by the window. It's sorry, you can use all the ledges on the wall. You can use all the ledges on the wall till the last tenth floor, because this is sticking out. These ledges are sticking out in the Rishus Rabim, right? So they're sticking out in the Rishus Rabim. So the height of the Rishus Rabim is 10 tefachim. So therefore, the ledges which are lower than 10 tefachim, ledges which are lower than 10 tefachim, so they are in the Rishus Rabim. So of course you can't put from your house onto a ledge, which is stuck to your house, but it's less than 10 tefachim sticking out in the Rishus Rabim. You can't. But any other ledges which you have anywhere along the wall, you can put stuff through the window. You can put it on those ledges, right? Okay. Im yesh other sort of thing. Im yesh is echad lematim menu mishtamish boy u be'elin ein mishtamish ela keneged chalui. If you have two ledges, one on top of the other. So if you have two ledges, one on top of the other, so the bottom one you can use the bottom ledge. At the top ledge, you can only use what's opposite your window. But if it's wider than your window or so on, that you can't use. So if you have two ledges, you can only use opposite your window and not any further. So the Gemara asks, what's going on? Hi ziz hechida. This upper ledge. What we're talking about the upper ledge. So you can't use the upper ledge. The lower ledge you can use. That's it. Okay. And the upper ledge, it says you can't use. Only opposite window. So what's the problem with the upper ledge? As long as it's higher than the Rishus Rabim, it should be okay. Okay. It's so if it's talking about it's a narrow ledge, there's no 4 tefachim, is mokim p'tur. It's a mokim p'tur. It's a mokim p'tur, and even opposite the window you should use it. If the ledge is less than 4 tefachim, you should not use it. Why? Because it's so small. It's a mokim p'tur. It's a small place, less than 4 tefachim. The things will fall off, and therefore the things will fall off, so it will fall into the Rishus Rabim. And even Rashi explains, even it's broken, the things which break when they fall. So you're not allowed to put. So even things which break when they fall, you should not put on a narrow ledge, which is less than 4 tefachim. You shouldn't put. Why? Because it will fall down. But who cares if it falls down? It falls down and breaks. Yeah. There's no the ledge itself is a mokum p'tur. It's not a problem taking trust the mokum p'tur. That's not an issue. It's not that. But the problem is because since it's narrow, therefore it will fall down. It will fall down. So it looks like you're taking things from Shusiyach into Rabbi. So Rashi's explains that even a broken case, even the case which will break when it fall, you still shouldn't put on the narrow ledge. So it looks like you're putting stuff in Rabbi. You go down the guy's window, you'll see all stuff which came from Shus Yachid, and then it's in the Shus Rabbi. So I feel connected chalene. So even negative, you should is be'arbo. If it's wider, so just because of something underneath, what's the big deal? You should be able to use it the whole width of the ledge. You should be able to use it, whether the part which is in front of the window, the rest of it, which is not in front of the window, you should be able to use all of it. So what's this thing with the top ledge? Amar Rabbi said, Tachten is be'arbo. Now, underneath one has a takeh foot. That's what he's talking about. The Elyon, the top one, less be'arbo, doesn't have a chaloin, but the area of the window, it's a narrow ledge. But if you add the window space itself, then it comes down. So therefore, opposite the window, you can't, because it's not so narrow. Because the window and the width of the chaloin, you have that form. Or the chaloinu. The haigis are also, but those parts of ledge which are beyond the window, on the right to the left, So that it's narrower than tefillah. So that's narrow, so you can't put stuff. Next, the Mishnah, the person can stand in Shusayachid and he can carry Shusarab. So he's carrying Shusarab and he move things Shusarab. Of course, less than Arba Amas. Yeah. So he can carry, he's standing in Shusayachid and he's carrying in Shusarab. You should worry that maybe he'll take the stuff from the Shusayachid, he's carrying it in the Shusarab, moving it from one place Shusarab to another place Shusarab. But maybe he'll take it in, he'll bring it in. So we're not worried about that. So therefore, you are permitted to stand in Shusayachid, you pick up item in this place, you put it in the other place, not too far away, obviously less than Arba. Same thing also. Rabbi, you stand in Rabbi and can carry it in Shusayach. As long as he doesn't, he doesn't carry more than Arba. As long as he doesn't carry more than Arba, that's okay. The person should not stand and not stand in Shusayach. Shouldn't stand in Shusayach and urinate into the Shusayach. Why? Because when he's standing in Shusayach and urinating into Shusayach, so that means that he's taking liquid, which is in his body, which is resting in the Shusayach, and it's resting later. It urinates into the Shusayach, so it's going to be rest in the Shusayach. So he's carrying the urination is taking something from the Shusayach, because where he's standing and resting, that's Hanocha, and then he's being maniach in the Shusayach. So, similar also, also lo yorek spit from Shusayach. Buddha says, "Af mishenit l'shroike befil lo yalach arba amas ashiyot." If he gets spit in his mouth and it sort of gets detached, he gets detached from spit. So once it's detached in his mouth, the spit is in his mouth is detached. He's not allowed to walk. He has to spit on the spot and let it drop. And then, because otherwise it'll be carrying since it's detached. So he was commanded Rav. He's in front of Rav and he was saying this Mishnah. It says, and he read it different. He read, he was saying that person should not stand in the Shusayachid, stand in Shusayachid and carry in Shusayachid. You're not allowed. Omar Lay, so Rav said to him, Shavkas the Rabbana, which is our Mishnah, Rabbana say you're allowed to. Avdis Kirameya, and you're doing halacha like Rameya. So he says, so who's sober? He thought, because the Rameya Rashi says a Mishnah further down. There's a Mishnah further away that was Rameya, and which says you're not allowed to. Says no, you're not allowed to. So you're leaving the thing in Rameya. So he says, who's sober? He thought be the safer Rameya, since the last part is Rameya. So what was his complaint? The complaint then was, here the Rabbanon, and you're paskening like Rameya, which is from a further Mishnah. So the Gemara explains that who saw it, he thought with the Sefer Rameya, Reish and Amar Rameya. He thought since the Sefer, the Mishnah later is Rameya. So the Reish is also Rameya. And so therefore it's Rameya against Rameya, like two versions in Rameya. So he passed him like one of the versions. So he chose one version. If it be Rameya Rabbanon, of course he wouldn't choose Rameya over the Rabbanon. But he thought there's two versions of Rameya. That's why Sefer Rameya Rabbanon. That was wrong because the Sefer Tak is Rameya, but the Reisha is Rabbanon. Therefore, you have to pass. It's not two versions of Rameya. You can choose which one you want to pass. It's the Rabbanon against Rameya. Therefore, the halacha Rabbanon you're not.